To order. Want to start with the roll call. Chair.
Chair Kramer.
Here.
Member Shepherd.
Here.
Member Seltzer.
Here. And we need to confirm any agenda amendments. I have, oh, you got it. Okay. Would you establish proper notice, please?
Proper notice has been established.
Okay. And then confirm agenda amendments, please.
Yes, subsequent to agenda publication, we have protest application number 16036 has been moved to withdrawals and is now 2A. Protest application 17003 has been moved to withdrawals and is now 2B. And approval of stipulations, protest application 17002 has been moved to stipulations and is now 3A. Protest 17026 has been moved to stipulations and is now 3B. Protest application 17027 has been moved to stipulation and is now 3C.
Okay.
Forgive me, can you read the first two or three again? I missed them.
The first one was application number 16036, moved to withdrawals, now 2A. Application 17003 has been moved to withdrawals and is now 2B. And then do you want the stipulations?
That's fine then.
Okay.
Seem to be missing.
Is that your fax copy or is that, here's a fresh copy.
Yeah, well, this is the same. So we didn't have pages with those numbers on it, right?
Yeah, they're deeper in the body of them.
Oh, are they?
Like, for example, well, they look like this, except instead of 34, it says 36. But it's further in your packet.
Okay. It's now application number 34 is now 36. Is that right? 16?
Third. Right.
Well, as far as order of, I'll count on you to keep us rolling there. So, as far as the order of proceedings, that's agenda items, right? So we will begin with withdrawn applications, move to approval of stipulations, then move to requested continuances and postponements, then we will then conduct any assessment appeal protests. And after that, we will go to other business. So, would you read into the record, please? We're starting with the withdrawal of applications. Would you read into the record requested withdrawals?
Yes, protest application number 16036, applicant name Anchor Bay Campground LLC, APN number 144-022-0900.
Okay.
And we have
That's the only one we have, right?
No, we have two. Protest
two.
application number 17003, applicant name Anchor Bay Campground LLC, APN number 144-02209.
Okay. Is there any discussion among the board members?
No.
No.
I would accept a motion to accept the two
Move to
withdrawals.
approve.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Okay, now we look at the record, the requested stipulations.
Okay, we have 3 of those. Protest application number 17002, applicant name Zena M. Kane, APN number 029-180-2800. And then we have protest application number 17026, applicant name Dooley Creek Ranch, LLC, APN number 048-260-2600, and protest application number 17027, applicant name Dooley Creek Ranch, LLC, APN number 048-260-2500.
Now, I had this stipulation as 17-026. Did you say
Right, she did.
Oh, you have 2 Dooley Creeks. I'm sorry. Okay. They were in reverse order. Okay. Any discussion? Do we handle each of these individually?
Depends on whether you want to ask the assessor on, for the basis for the stipulation.
And I do. Can you give us the basis of the stipulation?
Sure. On the King stipulation, in a nutshell, what occurred, and I think the rules have been changed a little bit. What I'm providing you guys now is summation, in addition to the stipulation form, to kind of just go over what we agreed to. But speaking with the owner, I realized that what happened was there was a partial change in ownership due to a date of death that had occurred, and based on the notes and review of file, the appraiser was unable to get to the property, locked gate, and the owner never responded to requests to get on the property for an appointment. And after my discussions with her, she provided further documentation, pictures of the property, and I had realized that we probably overassessed that. I think there was a presumption made by the appraiser that it was an average condition. After the information was provided, I realized that it was less than average. And so after discussion, I reassessed it and provided the owner with kind of a recalculation of the assessment. I think initially she was concerned that there was never a change in ownership, but after we provided the documentation and evidence to her, she was satisfied with our answer. Quickly, what had happened, the father had passed away and transferred interest to the kids. Well, they were stepkids, and he had adopted them, but under California law, if it's not prior to the age of 18, it doesn't qualify for the parent-to-child exclusion. She accepted that response and also accepted the new valuation, and we stipulated.
So the kids that came into title at that time were under the age of 18?
They were over 18 when he actually adopted. They were kind of what apparently the discussion we had was that he wanted the property to be inherited by these kids. And so then went through this adoption process and then applied for parent-to-child. But in California, if you're not under the age of 18 when you're adopted, it doesn't qualify as a parent-child.
Oh. Okay.
It was unfortunate, but she accepted that and was more than satisfied with the reassessment, and we stipulated.
Counsel, do you agree with the age of adoption? Since I am totally unaware of that law.
Mr. Chair, I would just say I believe you have Christian Curtis, Assistant County Counsel. I would just say I believe you have adequate grounds for accepting this stipulation there.
Okay. I would entertain a motion to accept this stipulation.
I'll make a motion to accept the stipulation.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
And then next are Dooley Ranch, and it's, there's two of them. Are they interrelated?
Yes, they
So
are.
we'll,
Yes.
if the rest of the board is agreeable, we'll look at both of them at once.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you provided a sheet, okay.
Yeah. So to review that, yes, Dirk
I'm-
Larson with the assessor's office. So the two parcels collectively constitute one legal property. The owner had filed an appeal in 2017 based on a appraisal report done by Wells Fargo Bank. I reviewed the report. I had no problem with the report and the indicated value. There was a question as to water. Apparently this ranch has a vineyard operation, and there was some issue with water rights. And apparently the water board, they had applied back in 2008, somewhere in there between 2008 and 11. The application is still under review, but during that review period, they had to write the right to use that water until a decision was made. So that's still up in the air. And Wells Fargo did a report with the scenario that they do have water right and without. And there was two different values. I think they appraised it at 2.15 with water, 2.13 without. I elected to go with the 2.13 since the water issue is still in question. And I didn't find anything in Wells Fargo's report to refute the opinion of value, and agreed to that, and we stipulated, and the owner was satisfied.
And the total value then on the stipulated value, did you add those up?
Yeah, it came to 2.13 million. I might add
Okay.
too that what had happened, they'd owned this property since 2007 and 8, 4 partners. And then in 2012, more or less, they put it in an LLC, and one of the partners came off, another came on. What the price they reported in that transaction was just over 2.8 million. The appraiser, in my review, just went ahead and went with that reported price. And so I think it reset the assessed value. It was a lower value than that. But again, I think the report by Wells Fargo was well done. Very lengthy, in-depth report, and I saw nothing to dispute the value that they arrived at, and the owner was satisfied.
The transfer in the LLC was for more than 50%?
Yeah, in any event, when you're talking individuals to a corporation under California law, that's a change in ownership.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions from the board?
No. Move to approve.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you for doing this for us. It's more efficient. Okay. We're down to 4. We have some continuances. Would you
We
read
do
them in?
not, we have not received any continuances or
Okay.
postponements.
And we will pass, we then move on to assessment appeal protest hearing, and we start with the swearing of the parties and witnesses, and I assume are the parties here?
Will all parties and witnesses who are here to testify please come forward? Raise your right hand. The whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Okay. We will start with the appellant. We will ask you to identify yourself, state your, all the findings of facts that you have. Please don't leave any out, because we can't hear them during your rebuttal period if you haven't presented them during your initial presentation. please come forward.
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Yes.
Christian Curtis, Assistant County Counsel. I'm sorry, I didn't hear which case was being called.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's a good question. Which
I
case?
think that's Mr. Parmenter.
Parmenter?
Okay, I get to start first then.
And if I may suggest, Mr. Chair, for the benefit of the record, if you would just have the clerk identify the particular property and application number.
That's 5I on your list.
Okay, this is protest application number 17006, applicant name David L. Parmenter, APN number 006-043-1400.
Okay, I made a little show and tell.
State your
My
name for
name
the
is
record.
David Lee Parmenter. Okay, I made a little show and tell.
You need to hand
the
those to the
clerk.
clerk.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Okay, basically, I bought the Masonic Temple in Willits with some partners, and I was not notified when I purchased it that it's basically a hazardous waste site. And Exxon came in after I bought it and did some wells, and it turns out that there is a gross contamination under the building. So the short story is that due to Prop 65, I can't rent it out to anybody. I can't sell it. My ex-wife tried to force me to sell it this last 6 months, and of course no one wanted to buy it. Anyway, on page 1 there's an acronym list of the reports. Pardon me?
We haven't
Someone's
distributed.
making copies
Of
of the
what?
document that you handed out,
Oh, okay.
so that all of us will have one.
Oh, I have another copy if you want it.
Well, each board member and the assessor will need one.
Oh, okay.
Just be a minute.
Sorry. Bear with us.
Do you want me to do push-ups while we're waiting?
As fast as you can.
I know I'd probably have a heart attack. I'm 168 years old.
Thank you.
Did you do color?
That's
Okay,
all right.
are we ready to go? Just let me know.
Yes, yes, you may proceed.
Okay, my page 1, I marked all the pages with a number on the top. That's an acronym list for your clarification. Page 2 is a map of Willets that was in the Exxon report, which shows the address of the gas station that's next to my building. Number 3 is an aerial photo. I marked the building on mine in pink, which is right next door to the source of the contamination. And page 4 is the location of the wells that Exxon put in, and my building, which is right next door. Page 5 is a picture of the type of soil we have here, and it's basically in the yellow, which on my copy it's all clay. So the gasoline, the xylene, the benzene, and the chlorofluorobromides are all going to be stuck there for quite a while. Now the page 6, there's the results of the well samples on MW5 and IB1, and the grossest contamination in all the wells was on my property, 42,000 micrograms per liter. The standard's 100. Page 7 has the results of the groundwater on MW5, and it shows the 42,000. The TPHG is the micrograms per liter, and gasoline is 42,000. The others were quite higher too. The benzene, toluene, ethylene, and xylene were far above reportable limits, and they're not going anywhere anytime soon. In the log on number 8, page 8, we have they drilled down about 5 feet, and there was moderate hydrocarbon odors, and that was the Masonic Lodge alley. And on page 9, we have on log of boring B4, there's a strong odor of gasoline at about 2.5 feet down. And so during the winter, when the groundwater comes up, you can kind of smell it if you go underneath the building. And on page 10, we have the same thing on boring B8. We have a strong gasoline odor on B8, which is right out front of the building, in the side, near the sidewalk. Now, page 11 has the results of the analytical report, which shows benzene. The property is contaminated with benzene, toluene, ethylbenzene, xylenes, and methyl-butyl and some methyl-butyl ether. Toluene is basically the active ingredient in airplane glue. You know what that does to your brain. Okay, then we have the gasoline on page 12, shows 42,000 micrograms per liter. So that's not going to go anywhere anytime soon. And then on page 13, we have the results of the other hydrocarbons, benzene, toluene, ethylene, benzene, xylene again, all cancer-causing agents. On page 14, Exxon says that the plume will migrate off the gasoline former gas station property in the year 2065 and onto my property. It'll still be on my property though, and the plume is moving toward Broadus Creek at a rate of 2.1 feet per year. So I assume in another 20 years after that, it'll finally be off my property in the year about 2085. So until 2085, I would like the assessment, or the assessment lowered down to what I could buy. I can buy 10 C vans for about $30,000, and that would be all I can use the property for is storage. So I could buy 10 C vans for about 30 grand. So that's what I'd like the assessment dropped to. Now, it was for sale recently. My ex-wife forced a sale with her lawyer, and they came up with a price of $389,000, which would pay her off with the mortgage on it. Of course, it didn't sell because at any time you'd have to notify anybody. That wasn't my idea, and I did not pick the sale price. I had hoped to pay her off with my house in Santa Rosa, which I remodeled. I sunk a lot of money in that, but it burned down in the Tubbs fire. And 2 weeks after that, her lawyers calling me, threatening me to pay her off. So we did that for 6 months. It was listed for 6 months with no takers, and that's where I am right now. I haven't paid the property taxes because I haven't had any money to do that. I'm hoping to lower it down and get a loan to pay the property taxes once, if I can get the taxes lowered somewhat. Otherwise, I'm probably going to have to just give it back to the guy I bought it from and see what happens there. But I'm pretty much on a fixed income with pension and some Social Security. So I'm just trying to lower the cost for me and keep the thing going. Any questions?
What was the date of purchase?
It was in 2012. I don't know the exact date.
And were you aware of the contamination
No,
problem?
not at all.
Was the seller aware?
He's going to say he wasn't aware, but I'm sure he was, but I can't prove it.
Isn't there some laws that protect buyers from purchasing properties that have contamination problems?
I don't know. I'd have to talk to a lawyer. Like I said, I don't have money for a lawyer, and I don't have money for an industrial hygienist to come and do air sampling in the building either. You know, it's going to cost buku bucks. The roof is shot. I got an estimate for that was $50,000. There's no heat in the building. The furnaces are not working. The smokestack for the furnaces fell over when I bought the place. It was a hazardous waste. We pulled it down. It was a hazard. The place is rat infested. We've had to put poison out all over the place. There's only a little half-inch water line to the building, and the building inspector said that that's not adequate. That I'd have to, if I did anything with the property, you'd have to get a 3-inch minimum water line, and that would fee from City Willis is like $75,000, and you'd have to drill underneath 101 to get it. So that's another $50,000. All the windows are shot. Most of them, half of them don't work. The electrical system's got a lot of 3-amp 1930s circuits in it that they put pennies in, and I had to take those out. And we put 20-amp fuses in on a 3-amp circuit, and we just replaced all the lights with LEDs so that we can get it down to about 5 amps.
So you were unaware of all of these negative conditions when you made your purchase?
Yes, I was not aware of any of those.
What was the purchase price on
We paid $230,000 for it. I put $50,000 down out of my money, and it was actually 4 of us that bought it, my ex-wife and 2 other people. I put $25,000 down, and then they wanted to get out, so I bought them out for $25,000. The money they put into it, $25,000, and I was hoping to fix it up and use it. But then I got into a divorce, and you know how that is.
So how were you made aware of the contamination issue?
Exxon sent me a letter.
Okay. So aren't they responsible for the...
Well, their position is that the plume's going to migrate off the property, and it's all going to dissipate. And it's dissipating, like I said, at 2.1 feet per year. It's going to go across 101. It's going to end up entering Broadus Creek, probably in about 40 years. So I don't know. Their like I said, their position is it's dissipating, and they sent those copies to state of California and the health department here in this county, and I guess they agreed. So I agreed when they came onto the property that I agreed to mediate if I disagreed with anything. So I'm kind of stuck. I don't think they're going to, Exxon's going to write me a check for anything. I'd like them to, that'd be great. But I'd have to hire a lawyer, and I have no money, basically. You know, my ex-wife just levied my account illegally at Chase Bank, and it took me 4 months to get my money out of that. And I'm usually down to about $25 at the end of the month with no savings. But I do have a pension and Social Security. I'm paying $1,200 a month on the mortgage on the Temple right now, and I owe it's down to about $160,000 on it. So if I can't get the property taxes down, I'm just going to have to just give it back to the mortgage holder. And he's in Chicago. He was in jail when I bought it. He was arrested in Florida, or no, I don't think he got that far. He was going
Okay.
to. All right,
That's probably
Right.
enough
So
information.
Beyond
you mentioned the sales price was, to your recollection, $230,000.
Yes,
So I see the assessed value is $150,000.
correct.
Did you have an earlier appeal? That
Yeah, I had
was-
an earlier appeal, and then that didn't work out for me. It's just too expensive. So I'd like it dropped down to about $30,000, which is the cost of about 10 C vans. Because all I do is store stuff there now. I can't do anything with it.
Do you have a tenant paying rent now?
In there?
Yeah.
No,
Not even for storage?
No, none at all.
Okay.
So just my stuff.
You indicated that it had been for sale. Was that listed?
Yeah, it was listed with Sharon Noah up in Willits. I can't remember the real estate, but we listed it for $389.
For 389,000?
Right.
I just found out I have a conflict.
Okay.
We wasn't aware, though.
Mr. Chair, I believe we have an alternate who's been present for this portion of the hearing. Is the alternate able to step in?
Some of that she'll need.
Can I sit in the chamber?
Generally not. Sorry.
State your name for the record, please.
Pardon me?
Shelley Barrett.
There you go.
Mr. Chair, I would just ask if the record could reflect whether the alternate has been present for everything that's been said so far.
That's correct. Have you been present for the testimony?
Yes, I've been
Yes.
present for the entire testimony.
Do we have any other questions?
Yes, I do have a question. So what was the date of your prior appeal that reduced the value to $150,000?
No, I don't recall. It was in
But
2000.
you accepted that value as market value at that time?
Yeah, at that time I wasn't going through a divorce, and I wasn't. I didn't know the extent of the wiring problems and the extent of the contamination problems.
So the information that you handed us, this was done
Yeah, that was
after-
done. I knew that part, but it's just gone to the point where I can't. I thought I'd be able to at least rent out the front office, but nobody wants to because of the Prop 65 and because I'd have to notify them. Everybody just bails. They don't want to rent it. I thought I'd get $400, $500 a month from the office, and that would pay the property taxes and some of the PG&E, but.
Okay, but you're uncertain as to the date of this appeal?
It was in 2013, I think.
Okay. But you were aware
I had
of these contamination issues
Right.
when that appeal was done?
yes, I
Okay.
was.
All right, very good, thank you. I have nothing further.
Did you bring any written evidence of your oral testimony here that, of the condition, i.e. the heaters, the electric system?
No, I didn't bring any with me of the condition of the heaters and stuff like that.
Any other questions?
No.
Okay. You may be seated, thank you.
Thank you.
And we will give you an opportunity to respond to the assessor once they've given their testimony.
Mr. Chair, if I may, I would just suggest that we be clear whether the applicant had anything further to submit at this time.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you have anything further to submit?
No, my submission was all of the chemicals and the contamination.
Yes.
I mean, in the future, I mean, I could take pictures, but I don't have anything other than what I would write about the condition of the wiring and the plumbing. That's another issue, but not at this time, no.
Thank you. Assessor.
Thank you, Dirk Larson with the Assessor's Office. I'd like to submit some information. There's 6 there, that should be enough for everybody.
Thank you.
So what I'm providing to you is just a simple parcel map and also a page right out of the report that the applicant or the appellant has submitted earlier. So just a little background on the property. Owner purchased the subject property for $240,000 in 2011. In 2015, he filed an appeal and requested a reduction in assessed value from roughly $255,000 to $150,000. The appeal was filed based on this groundwater contamination report prepared by Cardno EIR out of Petaluma in 2013. Per the report, the contamination, as the appellant has indicated, was a result of the gas station that used to be in operation in the adjacent lot right on the corner there next to the subject. The gas station was in operation from 1935 to 1970, and I'd ask you to please refer to Exhibit A. We accepted the contamination issues as indicated in the report and agreed to stipulate to the owner's opinion a value of $115,000 in 2015. The area appraiser enrolled that same amount for 2016, for 2017, the year being appealed here today, in 2018. Based on file notes and the appraiser's opinion, there wasn't adequate comparable sales to justify changing the value from the tax roll. So we've maintained that 150 for 3 years, going back to the initial appeal in 2015. So the immediate area of the subject is a mix of commercial and residential use property, most of which is occupied and in use. Per the report, see Exhibit B, second page, the groundwater flows in a southerly direction to Broadus Creek. The parcel immediately south and contiguous to the subject property is a residence and is occupied. The lot contiguous to that property and the path of this reported groundwater flow has a current active commercial use. As of this hearing, we found no reports that properties adjacent to the old gas station property are under any corrective action by the county for contamination issues. The owner has stated that the property has no value due to this 2013 contamination report and therefore cannot sell or even use the property for commercial purposes. I contacted Environmental Health to confirm whether any current actions were in place on the subject and received information that the Water Board performed a review in and around 2015 regarding the contamination and provided owner with a no further action letter, which served as notice of completion of the site investigation with no corrective action. No action or conditions were set by the county to support that the use of the property is limited or unusable. The owner has stated that he is currently using the commercial building for storage purposes only. We found no market sales to support the opinion of value as indicated by the owner in this latest appeal. And immediate area commercial listings range anywhere from $285 to $650. Now, going back to the time the owner purchased the property, appraisal notes on file indicate that the property had a new roof, new windows, had some upgrades at his purchase. Prior to that, and previous owners I can find nothing in file regarding or related to the property suggesting that there's been issues with contamination that have impacted the use of that property. I'm not a soils geologist, but it sure would appear that much of this is subsurface stuff, and none of the surrounding properties that I could find have any contamination issues or inability to use the property as they see fit. And as far as I know, this is part of the Willits Community Services, this property is served by Willits Services District.
You stated it sounded like to me you said that the sales price or the agreed on value with the assessor was $115,000.
150. So what we had,
150.
you know,
150.
Correct.
Okay.
What we had on the tax roll was nearly $260,000. He filed the appeal in 2015 after his purchase in 2011 of $240 under Prop 13 at prorates every year. It was about $255, $260. We had agreed to his opinion of value of $150 at that time, and have since not changed that value because we have found insufficient comparable evidence to support increasing it or decreasing it. And I find nothing currently to support the $45,000 the owner has opined in this case. It would seem to me there are some maintenance issues with this property. But, you know, based on the last file notes I saw, there was a new roof, new windows, and some upgrades made prior to the current owner's purchase.
Which brings me to my question, which is, did someone from your office inspect the subject property?
Yes, and per notes, there was an exterior view of the property, but the notes indicate there was no internal inspection or interior view of the building itself.
But their view from the exterior revealed what?
That, in her opinion, and she does make a statement, the owner said, is it was in poor condition. She says she didn't see that. She thought it was, you know, better than that. And I think the way she valued it was just kind of on the basic depreciation factors based on its age.
How old is the building?
It was constructed in 1932.
Okay.
1932?
Yeah, and at the time he purchased it, we said it was 50% good.
Okay.
It's one story.
It's a two-story old lodge hall, you know, Masonic temple hall.
You have square footage of it?
Yes, I do. The first floor area is 3,321 square feet.
I'm sorry, 3,000?
3,321 square feet.
Okay.
And the second floor, same amount.
Oh, okay. Wow. Okay. And it's wood frame?
Yes.
And do you know what the roof covering is?
Currently, it is composition shingle.
Okay. And you thought your notes had indicated that that was done just prior to 2011?
Well, yeah, and then in 2009 notes indicate new roof, new exterior paint, new windows, did not view interior.
Okay.
And then in 2012, the appraiser indicates that the building looked the same, although the owner had indicated it was in poor condition. But we assessed him at his purchase price of $240,000.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there was no initial appeal?
No, he didn't appeal until several years later in 2015. And we stipulated, we agreed, okay, based on the report.
Right.
But I found nothing from environmental health or any other report to suggest that this property cannot be used in a normal way.
Right.
And all the immediate properties immediately in the location of the old gas station, I found no reports of contamination issues with or any corrective action that requires that they cannot use the property as they see fit.
And is the old gas station actively being treated, the site?
Well, again, I'm not a geologist, but I do note in the report that this monitoring system, it's been in place for years and years, and it seems to me, I saw data in the report that the applicant has submitted to show that they compared readings from 2000 at their time at the 2013 report. So this has been ongoing.
So it would be likely that this information was available to the applicant when he made his purchase?
In my estimation, yes.
Okay.
In the gas station site next door, is it being used for anything now?
Yes, my understanding there was a small business there. I looked at Google Earth and it looked like it had been rehabbed and there was a for sale sign out front. And the board member recused himself. It was sold through Seltzer Realty, and I believe the listing sign I saw was also through Seltzer Realty. I could not confirm the appellant's statement that he was listing it for $389, but that seems within range of market value, for property like that.
Okay.
Okay, so the gas station structure is still there.
The structure, I think, yes,
Yeah.
I would say that,
Okay.
although I have not seen pictures of the gas station when it was in operation, so it could have changed a little bit.
And then lastly, the subject property you mentioned was wood frame. What is the exterior surface?
Stucco, I believe.
Stucco?
Yeah.
And the roof, is it a peak roof?
It's a hip roof composition shingle, yeah.
Okay.
And it's
And-
on a slab? I'm sorry.
I would presume, oh
Or
no,
perimeter.
I would say perimeter,
Perimeter,
yes, because
okay.
there's an indication here of wood floors. So.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions?
Nope.
Any other, anything else the assessor would like?
I just might add that, again, we stipulated to the owner's opinion in 2015 of 150, and we've maintained that value for the last 3 years.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, if I may,
Yes.
I would just suggest that the applicant be given an opportunity to ask any questions of the assessor.
Sure, sure. If you would like to step up to the microphone podium. Do you have questions of the assessor?
David Lee, Parmenter. Did they look at these windows you say are brand new because they were installed in 1975? Is that your definition of brand new?
I'm sorry.
Brand new what?
Windows.
I'm just going by appraisal notes that indicated there was a new roof, new exterior paint, and windows. Did not see interior.
Okay, so your definition of a new roof is what? Because the roof has been there since about 1975 also.
Well, I would presume the appraiser who's been at that job for a long time meant that a new roof cover. I wouldn't suggest that the entirely new roof structure. New roof cover.
I was just asking for the definition of new by the assessor's office. Is that 30 years old, 10 years old, 5 years old? What?
Well, typically when you recover a roof, it expands the life of that roof another 20 to 40 years. So I would say that's new, yeah. Unless there was...
20 to 40 years is new then? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. That's all. Can I respond to?
Not yet, not unless all your questions are complete. Have you any other questions of the assessor?
No, that was my only
Okay,
question.
now you have an opportunity to rebut.
Okay, thank you. My first rebuttal is that the roof is not shingles. It's rubber. It's a sort of an asphalt flat roof. It's shingles in the front, and it's asphalt in the back, which is deteriorating. There's numerous leaks in the building. I could probably take pictures of them. The heating system is apparently new, according to this appraiser. It's probably 40, 50 years old. The windows were put in 1975. Now, as far as the buildings next door, the old gas station is unoccupied and still there. It's a wreck. The house next to the gas station, it's Victorian, is unoccupied. Yes, the house to my south is occupied, but the commercial building south of them is unoccupied also. And the plume is supposedly not going south, it's going southeast. So that's incorrect also. I believe that's the only comments I have.
Sure.
So, are you under any sort of order by water quality or some other environmental agency to clean up the property?
No, that's Excellent's responsibility.
Okay.
They said that it's going to be dissipated in by about 75, 80 years.
Has any agency told you that you cannot occupy the property or that it cannot be leased to a tenant?
The Willett City said that I cannot do anything commercial there unless I upgrade the water system to a 3-inch water main, minimum maybe 4-inch, and that's going to cost $100,000.
But that's not connected to this environmental issue?
No, not at all, no.
So the city of Willits, their only consideration in this has to do with the water service itself?
Right, exactly.
Okay.
And they had an issue with the smokestack. They wanted me to knock it down, which I did. It was leaning over and the weight was being held by one of the chases. They had the wood chases. They used to heat the building with wood fireplaces, and they had a bunch of chases, and the thing had collapsed over onto one of the chases, so we pulled it out. It was quite dramatic.
Okay.
That's
All right.
it.
I have nothing else.
I'm good.
Thank you.
No, thank you. So at this point in time, we would close the hearing, go into private session.
Mr. Chair, Christian Curtis, Assistant County
Sure.
Counsel. I would suggest, just being clear, that both parties have submitted everything.
Okay. We are asking that question, have you submitted everything?
Yes, I have.
Okay, both parties indicate they have. Thank you. So we are adjourned to go into private session. we have made a determination. Our determination is that in the evidence presented, we find that the property can be used, and we agree with the assessor's valuation. Next on the agenda. Let me catch up with you here in a sec. All these being here in the packet, you mean?
So we have protest application number 16034, applicant name Dennis J. and Carol A. Thurston, TRS, APN number 169-14017.
Is Dennis and/or Carol Thurston present, or someone representing them? So I will entertain a motion to deny for lack of.
I'll make a motion to deny for lack of appearance.
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Then we have protest application number 16035, applicant name Dennis J. and Carol A. Thurston, TRS, APN 169-14016.
I will ask again, is Dennis and/or Carol Thurston or persons representing them present? I will entertain a motion to deny for lack of appearance.
I'll make a motion to deny for lack of appearance.
I'll make a motion to deny.
You'll second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Mr. Chair, if I may, I believe that we're using an alternate only because of a few conflicts, so we may want to address those ones first in the order, and then let Mr. Seltzer retake the dais.
Oh,
Protest application number 17004, applicant name Dennis J. Carol A. Thurston, APN number 169-14016.
again, are either Dennis or Carol Thurston or persons representing them present? I will entertain a motion for denial for lack of appearance.
I'll make a motion for denial for lack of appearance.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Protest application number 17005, applicant name Dennis J. and Carol A. Thurston, TRS, APN number 169-14017.
Again, is Dennis and/or Carol Thurston or persons representing them present? Lacking response, I'll entertain a motion to deny for lack of appearance.
I'll make a motion to deny for lack of appearance.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. And now we have on our last applicant, we'll call Mr. Seltzer back to the desk.
Okay. Thank you.
protest application number 16037, applicant name Gualala Properties LLC, APN 145-261-1200.
Is the applicant or persons representing applicant for Guala Properties LLC present? Hearing no response, I will entertain a motion to deny for lack of appearance.
I'll make a motion to deny for lack of appearance.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries unanimously.
Is that it? Did we cover King?
Yeah.
Yes, we did that one.
Okay,
Yeah, all the cases are heard.
okay, sorry. So I'm back to the agenda, okay. Next is approval of minutes. And I don't know that I have minutes in here.
They're in the back.
Pardon me? Oh, this is it here? No. Yeah, okay. That looks pretty. I will entertain a motion to approve minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from October 29, 2018.
Second. Okay.
Motion
Does
carries unanimously.
Anyone have an exception to anything in the minutes? Or an addition? No. Okay, now,
Motion carries unanimously.
thank you. Then, this is the time that we open up for public expression. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to make a public expression to the board? And they're nodding their, or indicating no. So now we move on to matters from staff. Do we have matters from staff? Okay, any announcements? Then do we need to confirm next meeting date of April 22nd?
The next meeting date is April 22nd, 2019.
It's Earth Day, okay. We don't need to vote on that, do we? No, okay.
Move to adjourn?
Yes? Do
I
have a-
second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay,
Aye.
thank you, everyone.
Oh.